And now there is a really wonderful resource. I have to share this with the world that the Canadian government provides. And they have all kinds of amazing resources on how to rebuild credit, how to handle your credit responsibly, how to teach your kids about money, how to teach yourself about money. Credit score is a powerful financial tool. So it doesn't matter if you have an average or below average score today. You can bring it up quite quickly. It's a lot like the stock market. So you can get it to come around with some strategies, or it might take some more time.
Divorce can be emotionally and financially overwhelming. That's why I'm teaming up with Sunny Wishart, president and founder of a la carte Financial and a certified financial planner. We will show you how to understand all things money without feeling ashamed, overwhelmed, embarrassed. You will learn more, ask questions. No question is a dumb question. Welcome to Money with Sunny. Let's get into it.
Today we're going to talk about documents. All the documents, all the statements, all the slips, all the all the things you've got to read and understand. And I find when working with my clients transitioning through divorce that the emotional overwhelm makes it just so brutal to be able to think clearly, to make decisions, to read difficult statements and words, and it's just really hard because we can only take so much, and often the focus for the people that I'm working with is on the kids. It's on the home. It's on the stability. It's on the all the questions. It's crying. It's sadness. It's failure, or it's devastation, abuse. It's just so much that to try to think about documents it's hard. So what I want to what we're going to cover today is how to get that folder out, how to get that kind of that accordion style binder together, how to go to Staples and buy that, and how to get organized, what's important, what you can do, just a little thing every day or a couple little things every day that'll make a huge difference in the end and in the long run. And it's about getting organized, and it's about preparing for the transition itself, and then preparing yourself for the rest of your life. So, morning, Sunny.
Hello.
So I'm sure that you've encountered this with the clients that you work with as well, and I wanted to ask, what do you think is a great first step when it comes to getting organized, getting the documents together, and kind of figuring out the business side of divorce?
Yeah. Wow. The first step is that it's going to happen whether you like it or not. So someone's going to need these things from you. So my personal favorite first step is a list. And I'm a pen and paper person's me. And this thing, I just put everything in here because I cannot have it here. I can't have it on a computer. For me, logging onto a computer is an obstacle for getting to my information. I want to be able to just, boom, here it is. So whatever format works for you, create a checklist. Now, you don't need to sit down in one go and have that checklist 100% itemized. More like every time you think of something, even like you have a notes app in your phone, create, financial notes. or financial checklist, and just type it in there real quickly, like, oh, I got to check my wills, or I need to check my insurances, or things like that. So you'll just put that in your list and just keep adding and adding and adding every time you think of something that's related to your money or your family, like the house policy, the insurance on your home and car, things like that, or an investment asset, pension asset, even pay stubs. Really great to have those all in one place too, just to have a snippet of what a pay stub looks like at your fingertips. So just creating that list.
Okay, creating the list. Do we have a list that we can send to our clients?
So that there is a work booklet, and it has a list in it of very itemized, and these are the things you want to make sure that you have ready to go.
Okay, so you mentioned insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned a will.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be reaching out to your lawyer. You mentioned pay stubs. You mentioned, what else did you mention?
Yeah, so you want things like, your wills, your insurance policies, both personal, home and auto, disability, whatever you have, any debt statements, just a recent, like just one on file, just to even prompt you that, oh yeah, I have this line of credit, even if there's no balance on it, there's a limit out there. Any maybe annual pension statements that might come in. And they don't have to all be recent, but just to more prompt you that these are the things we own. These are the things we have.
Okay. All right. And then is this list, and we'll link this to the bottom of the show notes, but is this list something that a person would bring to you at your first or second meeting? Or is this for the lawyer? Or is this, what's important about documents that people need to get organized? I mean, when I work with my clients, I kind of ask them to say, you have a slot for divorce coach conversation and questions. So it's kind of an accountability slot. So what you worked on last week, what you're going to work on next week, where you're headed, and any questions that pop up. For financial, I say you need to have financial documents in order so that child support, spousal support can be determined for your lawyer. You need to have kind of your expenses and your income slotted so that you know what your expenses are, what your income is, and how much money you need to make and how much money you spend every month, so that you're able to go out and do this on your own. Another slot would be a lawyer slot. So that would include a will, that would include your parenting plan, your spousal plan, your separation agreement. Is there anything, what are the documents that you would recommend I bring to you so that you can help me best?
All financial, I will usually send you a personal list of what I need, but it will be pretty much what I said. Because I guess the lawyer will need it too. So if you're at it, if you've got me helping you with this, making heads or tails of expenses, the lawyer is going to ask you for these very similar documents, very same ones, because they need to see the lists of assets and liabilities at date of when the separation occurred, right? So they're going to look at that particular date, and then they're going to want to have that. And those documents tend to overlap quite a bit with what I would look at.
Okay.
So I'm going to look at it, all the investment assets, and statements, liability statements, credit cards, lines of credits, mortgages. And then I bank statements as well, like what's in the account, what's coming in and out of the account. Um, and then, yeah, of course, I do like pay stubs because that's going to give me a real snippet into what your gross salary is, what kind of deductions you're responsible for on your pay stub. You could be paying all kinds of extra stuff off, being source deducted, like extra healthcare benefits or extra insurance benefits that I'd like to speak to as well.
That you may need or not need, you mean?
Mhm.
So you may be paying for something, and that money may be able to be used in a different way, more effectively, to create your plan. Is that right?
Just
Is
to
that
look
what you
at
mean?
like sometimes, but just to see what is coming off your paycheck, because sometimes we're stuck on what lands in our account is what we make, but you could be having 3% taking off and being put into an RSP.
Mm.
And that's very important. Or you could, those who have that defined benefit pension, you are having a massive chunk taken off your paycheck going into a pension plan. And someone might forget to speak to their pension plan when we're looking at assets. And I'm going to look at that paycheck and see, well, you have $500 to pay going into a pension. Let's talk about that.
And then would you have a suggestion for someone that would you have to look at their whole situation? Is it more of a holistic approach? So you look at where they're at and what they need and whether that's something that needs to be changed up. Is that how you would work with them then?
Like talk to them about the pros and cons of what they're doing versus what their goals are. So if their goal is to get through this transition and not change their current retirement trajectory, this is what this looks like, maintaining all these programs. But if their goal is to just say get through this transition and everything is on hold, I need to stay in the house, I need all the money to do this, then we can look at the types of changes you can do. But it depends on the goals and it depends for how long. And oh my gosh, so gray.
So gray, right? Now, if we want to black and white it a little bit, just a little bit, what if I don't know where the money is or where it's coming from? Then where do I start?
So something I've had people do is just start by pulling their credit reports. So we'll get like the investments aren't on there, but sometimes if you really aren't quite sure what is happening and what is in your name, I'm going to get you to pull your Equifax report and your TransUnion report, the two reporting companies in Canada that are most used. And I can walk you through those steps, how to do that. And then you can lay eyes on things because you might be using a credit card, but your name might not be on it. Right? You could just be an additional card holder and you're using that to buy groceries for your family, and your ex-spouse is the primary card holder. He can cut that card anytime. So I look at the risk. What kind of risk are you in right now? And so if this card isn't in your name or if they don't know, let's pull the credit bureaus. Let's look. And there are ways to do that people are worried, oh, I don't want to have a hit on my credit. There's ways to do that. It's a workaround. But let's just lay eyes on what's on there, what's in good order, make sure everything's correct. It's a good practice in the first place anyways.
And can anyone pull a credit report on themselves?
Mm-hmm.
And is there a charge for that?
So no, it depends on, I guess, who you bank with and who you use. But like, say you bank with Scotiabank, they offer the TransUnion report right on their online portal. It's a soft hit, which means it doesn't affect your score. You can look at it at any time. I look at mine very regularly. Then for Equifax, and not that I'm selling anything, this is totally free service. I use Borrowwell. It's just an online. I've signed up for. I've been using them for years. They send me my Equifax credit score every month. I don't look at it every month. It's like the stock market. It goes up and down. I look at it like twice a year because 40% of credit bureaus have mistakes and fraud is running rampant in Canada. And the only person responsible for keeping a good credit score is you. So you got to lay eyes on it anyways. But if you're unsure of what products are yours, how they've been handled in the past, say that your name is on it and they haven't been handled well, you need to know that.
And if I'm not sure how to go about increasing my credit score, is working with someone like you a benefit? Can you help with that?
Yep. Really good at that.
Okay. So and how important is a credit score?
Well, credit score is a powerful financial tool. So it doesn't matter if you have an average or below average score today. You can bring it up quite quickly. It's a lot like the stock market. So you can get it to come around with some strategies, or it might take some more time if you've got high balances, like if you owe a lot compared to your limits, like you're at your limits on a lot of your debts. So those have to get paid down or closed. But a credit score, strong financial or powerful tool. So say you want to go buy another home. And you're like, I'm going to sell the marital home. I'm going to go buy another home. You need to know your credit score to do that. Lending is all tiered these days, so they're going to give you an interest rate based on your credit score. So
And does that would that mean that the lower your credit score is, the higher your interest rate will be on your mortgage?
Mhm.
So the better your credit score is, the less the bank is going to charge you to lend you money.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. So that's important. And you said you can increase your credit score fairly quickly. You just have to know how, and you have to know the strategies to be able to do that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So that would be something that a person can do right now. You can go and you can get an account at Borrowell. You
Mhm.
can do it at TransUnion through Scotiabank. Either is good. I've heard of Credit Karma. Maybe
So
they're
yeah, and check to
Credit
make sure
Karma.
you're looking at TransUnion and Equifax, the two, because certain lenders use different ones. Equifax is the predominant credit report, but some use TransUnion. And now there is a really wonderful resource. I have to share this with the world that the Canadian government provides. It's the FCAC, the Financial Consumer Agency of Canada, and they have all kinds of amazing resources on how to rebuild credit, how to handle your credit responsibly, how to teach your kids about money, how to teach yourself about money. It's from the horse's mouth. It's from amazing professionals, and I just love that site. If you're looking to just grab some easy to read information, the FCAC is straight from our government.
Okay, super. So that's great. That's great information for everyone. So the FCAC, check it out and check out what your credit score is. And whatever it is, it's okay. You can increase that in a reasonable amount of time. You just have to know what to do, and you can reach out to Sunny or someone like Sunny. You can, check out FCAC and try to figure this out on your own. Personally, I work with the experts. That's just me. So now, if so you're creating your document folder, your document binder. So you would say, take a look at everything that you're spending, and then get those credit card statements, slide them into your folder. Now what about if you know that your partner has some real estate investment or something? Do I have to hire a private investigator? Do I have to, how do I get these numbers? What do I do?
Well, it depends on what stage you're at. If you're at the separation stage, he's exited the home, or you're living separate and apart, he is to list his assets with his legal representative, right?
Mhm.
So that is not, if it's in his sole name, you aren't going to necessarily have access to get your hands on it. But he has a responsibility to list those assets to his representative, and then your representative will work with them on that equalization.
Okay. And what is equalization?
Add it all up, divide it in half. And it's
So
not always the case, but that's a rough way of putting it.
okay. So I make $70,000 a year. He makes $200,000 a year. That's $270,000 a year. So that's equalization says that we now each earn $135,000 a year. And then that means that because he makes more money, he'd have to pay more
I'm going
towards
to be honest,
expenses.
that is definitely out of the financial planning scope. That's going to
Okay.
bridge us into lifestyle, amount of time of marriage, where your career was pre and post marriage. There are like a thousand other family law aspects that are going to draw in there. If you've been married 40 years and, there's all or if you've been married 10 years and the kids are it's not going to end up perfect. Nobody has the same picture.
So each scenario is unique and different.
Yeah. And depending on what you
Okay.
brought into the marriage or depending what you acquired during the marriage. Yeah.
Right. So if someone is towards the beginning or middle of the divorce transition, maybe have kind of just getting into thinking about the money, or just have thought about it and done a little bit for a short period of time, what would your suggestion be to them? Can't have everything all figured out in a day, but you do need to get things in order. So they would bring to you just all of the statements that they can get their hands on, and then you can help them organize their finances. And then anything that they find out about their spouse's finances that they didn't know can all be sorted out and dealt with the lawyer. Is that kind of a good in a nutshell? Or is there something, what am I missing?
Yeah, I would strongly recommend, one, get those statements and things like that added up. And I can help with the money aspect, but because, like I mentioned, there are so many legal aspects, they should seek a legal counsel, have a consult with a family lawyer as well. And oftentimes, if you're employed through a larger employer, they have like these programs where you have access to like a 1 hour consult. Yeah.
Right. So look into that as well.
That's right. See if your employer benefits has some sort of like ESP, or what's it called? Like they have a program, and then it's like you have access to professionals, so you can speak to a lawyer, you can speak to an accountant, and they'll do it for like an hour or something.
Okay, super. So as a takeaway for today, gathering your documents is not is difficult, because the emotions are so strong in transition and in divorce transition, that it's almost the last thing we're thinking about. But this is important. So I have no idea where to begin. I've always just taken my credit card to Zehrs to buy the groceries, and I bought the kids clothes, and I've just been living life. And now all of a sudden I need to get organized. What would kind of be a first, what would you recommend? What's important right now for me to do?
When you're ready to get organized, when you're ready, I always say historical indicator. So you, like I said, this is how I've lived my lifestyle. That's indicative of your future. So if you're going to, if you want to maintain that lifestyle that you were providing for your kids, you're going to look at those credit card statements for 3 whole months, the last 3 months, because that is your lifestyle. And often we tend to fool ourselves into saying something like, oh, well, that was December, that was Christmas, or oh, that was March. Both kids' birthdays are in March, so that was a one-off. But the one-offs, are so frequent. There's a one-off all the time. So just count it all, because that is your lifestyle. Don't diminish the lifestyle, and be honest. So when I help people manage what is my lifestyle, I look historically three full cycle months, three whole 30 days, and then I break it down. This is what it costs. This is what your lifestyle costs. This is what your transportation costs. This is what you're putting into savings, and this is your food. This is your housing, your shelter. So kind of categorize them that way. And generally, lifestyle expenses are over 50% of our income.
Mm.
But that's everything. That's just so much. So look in the past, look at those statements, gather 3 months, and just, or sometimes I'll even I'll get statements and I'll take 3 different color highlighters. Purple is housing, the gas bill, the property taxes. Yellow is everywhere I've tapped my card for stuff, and transportation will be red. And just because sometimes it's therapeutic to sit with the paper, sit with the colors, and see them in that way too, instead of exporting to an Excel and creating a pivot table. Yeah.
I like colors. Colors would work for me. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It doesn't seem so technical, and it doesn't seem so scary. And so, and now I don't want to do it, because God, it just sounds like way out of my comfort zone. Yeah. So that's good. I like that. Yeah. Is that your number one tip for right now? I'm just kind of getting going. So look back past 3 months, pull all your credit cards for the past 3 months, highlight transportation, housing,
Lifestyle.
So that's 3 highlighters. So transportation, housing, lifestyle, 3 highlighters. And that's going to give you a fair idea about how you spend your money, how much money you spend, and where you spend your money. And I really like, don't diminish, don't not count the presents that you buy for people, the dinners that you enjoy out, the money that you just give to your kids, the boots that you buy for yourself in the fall. Don't diminish those things. They're important. Money is a resource. You can make more money if you want. And happiness is really important too. So I think, and just getting real with this, you're going to feel lighter about all the numbers and you look at a statement. I mean, how many times do you look at those little $2 and $4 and you just go, you just ignore it, because you have no idea what it is, or so now just get real with it. And I think it takes a weight off your shoulders just to understand. What do you think about that? I think that is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Get real. And I did find that pandemic life has increased our tapping online presence with our money, which has totally garbled our brains in what I call being responsible for mental accounting. And we can't mentally account for all those taps. When you're physically sending the money out, there's it's like there's an energy happening there, this transfer. But when you're just tapping, it's gone. That feeling is gone. And so you have to look historical now. I don't feel there's any other way to know where your money goes other than looking back at where it went.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like when I was a kid, there was no tapping. And so, yeah, you wanted something from the candy store, you had to bring your nickels and dimes and quarters, and wow, I'm dating myself now, but to the money store, and and you had to give the guy the quarter and he gave you the lollipop. I mean, that's just, everything was like that. And I still carry cash around with me just because of where I come from and what I've always done. I like to have a bit of cash cash on me. Yeah, so it's a different, it's that exchange of energy. Yeah, that adds a whole other twist to understanding, really knowing how much we spend every month. And to get to a place where you can still have all that spending and have those dinners out and have fun and have a savings account and have an investment account and have stocks in the stock market or however you're investing your money, and feel like it's not all going to come crashing down all the time. That's where we all want to be, so gathering your documents. We're going to link some good information around this at the bottom of the show notes from Sunny, and gathering your documents, getting this stuff in order, and really understanding how you spend your money is going to help you towards the financial freedom that I know you want. Well, thanks for the conversation today, Sunny.
It was so good as always.
It was so good as always. And cheers to delicious coffee in the morning. We'll be back next week. Thanks for listening.
Financial documents are complicated. If you want to learn more, check out this video. We will show you how to find the right money expert to work with without feeling dumb, unprepared, and unorganized.